Welcome to Cruise on Demand, where cruising smart is always on the itinerary. I'm your host, Tina Altman. Let's cruise in. Today I want to show you what it's like to cruise in the tiniest room on the tiniest Carnival ship, the Carnival Elation, room R102. My husband and I just got back from our third cruise in the Carnival Elation, and I want you to decide for yourself if this tiny cabin is one you could handle. We picked this room for three main reasons. One, the price. Cruising in an interior stateroom is the most affordable way to get onto a cruise ship. Two, the location. Room R102 is located on the fourth deck. It's a lower deck mid-ship, and my husband is often prone to motion sickness, so this is the safest place to be if that happens. And number three, the sleep. You can't beat how dark it gets in an interior cabin. Sometimes we often sleep better on the ship than we do in our own beds. My husband and I love interior cabins, but that wasn't always the case. I used to almost exclusively book ocean views and balconies, until recently. So I'm going to do a future video as to why we select interior cabins more often now than balconies. So if that interests you, please make sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss it when it drops. Typical cabin with a nice long hallway when it comes in. To the left of you, you'll actually have a closet with a bunch of different shelves. One of the shelves does have a safe on it where you can keep all your valuables, your passport and whatnot. We used it since it was just the two of us to hold some of my clothes and our sodas. There are two drawers at the bottom. We didn't keep anything in them. I think we threw maybe some pamphlets or stuff, but we mostly kept them blank because it's just the two of us. Remember, this room is meant for 4 people. Right after those two shelves, you do have a double set of closets. You'll see the very first one. When I open it up, it has a split shelf. So you can put shorter things like shirts and shorts or even pants on the hangers, but there really isn't much space in the bottom. I often use that for my dirty clothes. Sometimes I throw it into the suitcase, into the bed, but this time I stuck them there. And the second one, that closet again has your life vests because there's 4, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. It also has the Pullman stairs, the way that you can climb up into the Pullman bed. You'll see it as I pan down, but it also has a full length closet, so that's where I often hang my husband's suits and my dresses and most of my clothes. And it has a full length mirror, which I'm trying to avoid. Right next to it there. And then I often put our shoes in the bottom down here to kind of keep them out of the way. And again, since it's so long, there's plenty of room down there to get to the shoes and keep them off the floor. And that's the whole room. You can see the Pullman beds on either side and then our bed. This bed is the 2 twins pulled together. Lights under by the pillows so you could see or read at night. The side closest to the wall does have some USB ports for that person to charge their phone. Small little TV and the second Pullman on the other side. And then you have 2 little hooks coming up on the right here that I pan over where you can hang hats, shirts, bathing suits, anything that you need to hang. Of course, you can bring the magnetic hooks that go to the walls as well. Short cruise for us, so I didn't see any reason in bringing those. Then I'm going to come over here to the vanity with a nice bright light to help put your makeup on. It really was plenty of room for us. I think if there was 4 people, it might be a little more crowded. But for me and my husband, you have both the USB as well as the 2 USB right there, as well as US plugs, and then a European plug. And we often bring both, as you can see. We're using our regular plugs. I have the European plug with all of our USB ports, and then we had a block for our US plug as well if we wanted to use it, but we didn't use it, so we just used a couple of our other outlets there. And then a couple shelves by the phone for you to put things on. And usually we store a lot of like our medicine and stuff. And then I come up to the bathroom, which is on your right as soon as you come in through the door. You can see some of the wear and tear. It is an older ship. 1998 is when the Elation was built. And dry docked, I think, last in 2020. So, but they didn't do all the repairs. It's your typical bathroom. It does have your body wash and your shampoo. So I usually typically bring my own as well. Of course, it has the cloth shower curtain rather than the glass shower curtain. And it has the typical clothing line where you could hang up your wet bathing suit or towels or anything else that you wanted to hang up in the bathroom to keep dry and keep your room from getting wet. Again, soap and body wash and shampoo, and then shelving unit, your normal towel spots, and then the regular old loud toilet that's on your normal cruise ship. So it's a small bathroom, but it does what it needs to do. I don't think it's as awkward as some other ones where you have to kind of turn your body to go to the bathroom. It's a pretty standard Carnival bathroom. So that is R102. I hope you enjoyed that tour. As promised, the next part of the video is with the 2 Pullman bed down. Before I show you that video, I did want to say I have been in this similar type room, both with 2 adults and 2 small children, as well as 3 adults. Now, when you're in that room with 2 adults and 2 small children, while though it is tight and hard to maneuver around when the Pullman beds are down and the ladders are showing, it's not as bad because the kids love climbing up in the Pullman beds and sleeping in them and climbing down. They absolutely love it. But the last time I went on the Elation prior to this visit was with 2 other adults, and I was the adult that had to climb in and out of the Pullman bed. I actually ended up, you'll see, one of the Pullman beds over the 2 twin beds put together, and I actually would just climb right out of it where she's in a ladder. But after a certain age, it gets a lot harder climbing out of that Pullman bed. So if I was going to do it again, I'm not sure I would stay in the room. But let me show you what it looks like with both Pullman bed down. As you can see, one Pullman bed is down right over the 2 twin beds pushed together. So you do have to be careful when you sit up at night to make sure you don't hit your head in the Pullman bed. Then the second Pullman bed is over to the right on the opposite side. A lot of space between the 2 Pullman beds, but if the person next to the wall has to get out to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, they kind of have to scrunch down as they go so they don't hit the Pullman bed. So it's a really tight squeeze for 4 people. And you can see the space between the ladders of the floor. You really have to be careful as you're walking around at night. You don't hurt your feet as you walk by those ladders because they are really close together and that's really small space up there. So this is what it's going to be if you have 4 people in the room. Not too bad with 2 adults and 2 small children, like I said, but anything more and it gets really cramped. So that's the Carnival Elation room R102. Was it small? There's no denying that. But for what we needed on this cruise, it checked a lot of our boxes. Let's talk about what worked. First, the price. As I mentioned earlier, interior cabins are the cheapest ways to travel on a cruise ship. And for this short 5-day cruise, it worked for us. Second is the location. R102 is located midship on deck 4, one of the lower decks, which means it's more stable. So if you tend to have motion sickness like my husband, this is a good spot to be in. We had amazing days at sea and there was no motion, but it's nice to know we're in a location that's generally more stable if we needed it. And third, the sleep. Interior staterooms can get pitch black when the lights are out, which means with the rocking boat and the no light, you can sleep like a baby. I've had balconies that are gorgeous views in the morning when you wake up, but there's something to say about a good night's sleep. Now, of course, there's trade-offs. For this room, it's limited space. So if you're someone who likes to spend a lot of time in your cabin, spread out, take everything out of your bags, it might not be the cabin for you, especially if you're with 4 people and you have to pull the both Pullman beds down at night. You really have to be careful with the ladders down that you don't hurt yourself in all that limited space. This time it was just the 2 of us, but technically this cabin can sleep 4 people. Can it be done? Sure, you saw the setup, but it's very tight. Personally for me, I think it's great for 2 adults and 2 small children, but if you have teenagers, it's time to start considering having 2 interior rooms or a balcony and an interior room. If you have 3 adults, like I mentioned before, or 4, it starts becoming very difficult to share this room. So would we book R102 again? Definitely. For us as a couple, it's the perfect room. Great price, great location, and gotta love that dark room. I'd love to know what you think. Could you stay on the smallest room in the smallest Carnival ship? Would this room be a deal breaker for you? Or are you the type that just uses the room to sleep, shower, and then go back out for more cruising fun? I'd love to know what you think. Drop a comment below. If you're thinking of booking the Carnival Elation, or you just want to know what it's like to be on the smallest ship in the Carnival fleet, be sure to check out my next video. It's a full ship tour where I go deck by deck on the Carnival Elation to show you what this beautiful, wonderful, small, older ship is like. See if it's an experience that you'd like to try. So go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell so you know exactly when that video comes out. Thanks again for joining me on Cruise on Demand. I'm Tina Altman. Until next time, keep on cruising.